Hi, welcome to the Afrocentric Woman. Um, I'm gonna try this out. I'm gonna okay, it says I'm live. Why is my thing? I'm trying to see if my other device will pick up the fact that I'm live. It's not picking it up for some reason. Okay, now it is. Okay, no, it's not. I'm on YouTube. Okay, so I'm about to try this out because I need to like multitask because I'm like behind on products. So I'm actually mixing up products right now. So I need to ship some out today. But I wanted to come online while I had it on my mind. Gosh, y'all, I just came back from the ghetto and not like the ghetto in real life. I just came back from the online ghetto. Just the ghetto. Ooh, child. I'm happy to be back home over here. I'm happy to be back home. Ooh. I had to clutch my purse and my pearls, okay? Um, anyway, I guess it's a conversation. Hey, divested Power Ranger. I'm so glad you're here. Because this is the thing about me, and I've always been very transparent about this, that I'm not a divester. And I have said that certain divestors tolerate me because because they're over here to get something else. The divestors that come on my channel, they are over here to get something to help themselves because they're not getting it in any divestment space. They're not getting it in the divestment spaces. And they've already moved past, venting and, you know, they've already moved past, they're trying to get something additional. So that's why they're over here and that's why they tolerate me because I'm not divester and I'm not hardcore or any of that stuff. I'm not like that. I try to speak the truth. I try to tell my story. I try to share the experiences that I have had over the past over 10 years working with Black women and families in real life, not on YouTube. I try to share stories about my family, which I feel is very relevant to a lot of people's collective experiences of Black life. And that's what I try to do. And I try to help women avoid some of the mistakes that I've made by sharing stories and sharing strategies and things like that. That's what it's all about. And what I learned very quickly. Let me just start. I learned very quickly that I initially thought I was divested because I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds about right. But when I went over there, I quickly learned, no, I'm not actually. I'm not divested, and I do not meet the criteria of this community to be a part of it. And also, it's ghetto and it's ratchet, and I don't want to be over here. So it was a lot of things. It was the part that I do not meet the criteria. I do not meet the standards, and that's okay. And I've always been cool with that. I always just go wherever it makes sense. I don't feel the need to bum rush anybody or to force anybody to do anything that I feel like they need to do. You know what I'm saying? It's called home training. It's called having good home training. It's called having etiquette. It's called don't crash other people's effing party. If you're not invited to the party, don't go. And I understood, you know what? This is not my party. This is not my tribe. This is not my people. There's like a handful of divestors that F with me, and that's because they're here for other things. They're not here for, you know, the racial epithets and stuff like that. They're not coming over here for that because I don't have that to give. They're over here for other reasons. And I think that the subscribership over here, as I have said many times, are some of the most intelligent, level-headed women among any of the groups. We are small in numbers, but we are very level-headed and wise and very committed. Everybody's committed to their own individual self-growth. Everybody has a mission. Everybody has what they're trying to do in their own sphere of influence. Everybody has a mission, and people are working on them diligently. So if there's anything that I can contribute to people's and improvement, self-improvement, then I'm here for it. First and primarily for yourself, and then secondarily to get whatever you're trying to get out of a situation. Because I think, like, if you are going to be interfacing with males of any group, of any race, it should be at your benefit. As a woman, you should be benefiting from the situation and not just doing it just to be picked. I don't promote pick-meism over here. My philosophy is that women are the prize. And so that is how I operate. That is the lessons that I share. The information that I share is coming from a perspective that a woman is the prize and that we're not just trying to be picked. Hey, Cozy, used to be divested, realized those women are trauma bonded too much and offer no solutions left. And my life has been so much lighter. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, it's a lot of trauma bonding. Now, when it comes to trauma bonding, well, I wouldn't say trauma bonding. I will say trauma processing. I think that it's important for Black women to have a space because there's not really a lot of places. Like, you'll get gaslit a lot as a Black woman when you start talking about even church hurt. A lot of people will downplay church hurt. A lot of people will downplay parental abandonment, whether it be either parent. People will even downplay even if your mother was an inadequate mother and shame you for that. If you have criticisms about her mothering, they will shame you for that. Like, oh, at least she stayed, at least she's there, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, well, I hear what you're saying, but that doesn't take away the fact that I didn't have the proper mothering. Like, you're trying to, shame me about me sharing my experience. I think Black women need a place to share their experience. And I think that it's very healing, and it can be very validating for other Black women to listen to your story and say, me too. Oh my gosh, that happened to me too. Like, you're not alone. You are not alone. But where it gets crazy when it's just like there's no way out of that loophole. Like, there's no solutions. It's like, keep coming here for more triggering conversations. Like, keep coming back for more trauma bonding. And then, like, that's it. So some people just get stuck there, and they don't move past it. I mean, I think that it can be an important part of your journey is to have a place to process your pain. And I think that can be important, but it shouldn't be all you do. It shouldn't be the whole shebang. It shouldn't just be atrocity after atrocity after atrocity and trauma bonding, and racial epithet. Now, let me say this. When it comes to Black women elevation content, I tend to choose my content creators by who I would want to have brunch with. That's me personally. That's how I choose who I want to listen to, because it's not like we're necessarily, sometimes we're learning skills, but sometimes we're not. It's not like they're like how-to videos. It's really like, it's like girl talk, and it's like chit-chatting among the sisterhood about different things, and we share resources and we hang out with one another. And so therefore I see it as like, well, if I'm going to be hanging out with you online, then I would want to have brunch with you in real life. And if I don't want to have brunch with you in real life, then I'm not about to be tuning in and listening to the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I wouldn't want to kick it with you on an every day-to-day basis, I'm not going to tune in, because I just, like, that's just me. That's how I do it. And that helps. That's who I gravitate towards. So if every other word is a B, a H, a B, a H, a B, a H, I don't want to kick it with people like that. It's just ratchet. It's very ghetto. It's very ghetto. Because you can say everything that you want to say, and you don't have to call another Black woman a B and a H every other word. It's just the ghetto. Oh, and it's the ghetto. It's just so ratchet. And this isn't to say like I'm the most prim and proper. I will drop an F-bomb. I'll drop an S-bomb. I cuss as I need to from time to time to make a point. But at the same time, every other word that comes out of my mouth doesn't have to be a B, a H, a this and that. And especially directing towards another Black woman. You ladies have observed me disagreeing with certain specific Black women, and I don't sit up and call these Black women who I disagree with a B, a H, a B, a H, a B, a H. No. If you are demonstrating behavior that I find to be harmful to other Black women, I may call out the behavior. I can call out the behavior without calling you a B, a H, a B, a H, a B, a H. Like, come on. Surely you have a more advanced vocabulary to where you don't just have to say B and H every other word. This is my thing about the divestment space. I noticed real fast that it is a contest on savagery, and you are rewarded by how savage you are towards other Black people, especially other Black women who you deem are not as hardcore as you. So if there's a Black woman who doesn't meet your criteria for savagery, they unleash their venom on that Black woman. And the way that you rise up in the ranks within that community is by how savage you are. And that's it. And also by cutting off other people. And that's why they're being compared to cults. Because cults, for example, like Seventh-day Adventists or, different types of groups, the Mormons, people like that, they discourage people from hanging out with non-Mormons, right? Oh, you're fraternizing with non-Mormons. Well, the divestment people are the same way. If they see you on another channel that they don't agree with, they shame those women. Oh, I saw you over on such and such channel. That person is a fence sitter. They're not a part of our group. Like, what the hell? Like, you should be able to go wherever you want to go online and get information. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should be able to go to different groups and be able to get different things from different people. Like, come on. Like, that's the part that's really, it's troubling. But, it's like, okay, fine. Do whatever you want to do over there. Do whatever you want to do over there. Because I don't try to police other people's platforms. Like, do what you want to do. But when you come for other people, when it's like you're unpleasable, like nobody can make you happy, nobody can make you satisfied, and you give people titles that they didn't ask for. Like, for example, I don't like people calling me a cis woman. I don't like that. That's not a term that I developed for myself. Okay, I'm just a regular, natural born Black woman. That's who I am. And so I don't want a title that I did not solicit for. And it's the same thing with like calling me a swirler or calling women like, oh, you're not divested, you're a swirler. I find the term swirling to be offensive for me personally. I'm not a swirler. I don't like that term. But when you don't respect other people, when you don't have decorum and you don't have good etiquette, you don't ask what somebody wants to be called. You just call them whatever you want. And you don't care if you offend them because you don't care about them. You don't value them as another human being. You don't see anything in them that's worthy of respect if they're not doing exactly what you want them to do. And so even though they don't want to be called a swirler, you call them a swirler because you want to be offensive and mean. I'm not never have I ever called myself a freaking swirler, and never have I advocated swirling. I find it to be very porn centric, and I'm just not even about that life at all. I'm not about that life. Okay. So, yeah, you basically rise up in the ranks by how harsh you are towards of course Black males, but Black women too. You can get kudo points for going in on Black women too, calling them B's and H's and every other name in the book. Listen, when it comes to racial epithets, there's a few reasons why I don't use them on my channel and in my everyday life. There's a few reasons why. And it's not to protect kings or anything like that. It's to protect the image of Black women. That's why I don't. When you are calling someone who has your phenotype an ape and a monkey, and they have your same phenotype, you are inadvertently calling yourself a monkey and an ape. Don't you get it? And everything that we're trying to do is we're over here, and in spaces like mine, we are trying to elevate the Black phenotype as a natural beauty. That our phenotype as it is, with wide nose and thick lips and big eyes and dark skin, we're trying to elevate that beauty standard as beautiful as it is. And so when you call other people who have that phenotype apes, yeah, it makes our job harder. It makes our job harder. It does. And that's why I don't do it. Now, for those who do it, I don't really police their spaces. And I can even say there are certain people who use very harsh racial epithets. And I would say, aside from that, I have respect for those women because they're doing so much more than using racial epithets from time to time. They may do it from time to time, but that's not their main thing. They're really doing something else. They're really educating on something else. So I don't have a problem with those women. I really don't. But for the ones that's your main thing, like, I just can't get with you. Like, there's so much behavior that can be critiqued on that side. There's literally so much behavior that can be critiqued. Like, you don't even have to go there. You don't have to go there. But let's just say you do. Like, if you do, then just do it over there. But you can't say that someone loves Black women less or they're not committed to Black women because they don't choose to engage in the racial epithets that you do. Like, it doesn't work like that. You can do that on your channel, but you cannot entice other women to do that if they don't feel comfortable doing that, if they don't want to do that. If you don't see the value in elevating Afro-Black features, then you just don't. If you don't, you don't. I do. I see the value in that. And that's why I stay away from those particular types. I try not to critique those males' looks anyway. Unless they're like an O'Shea and they're like really like bone structurally ugly, that's a different story. But I try not to do too much on looks because I don't want to, like, I want people to pay attention to the behavior. I want to always point to the bad behavior. The bad behavior is way more troublesome than the looks. And we can continue to try to disassociate ourselves. And I think that it's a healthy too. Lord knows I'm grateful and thankful to be disassociated somewhat from a group that's so problematic. But okay, I'm looking at my scale. Okay, making sure I didn't need new batteries. I try to do my best to disassociate myself, but as much as I want to disassociate myself, excuse me, I know that I can only disassociate myself for so much. You know what I mean? I can only disassociate myself from so much. And when it comes to the phenotype, I don't want Black women to be compared to primates or apes or gorillas or any of that. I don't want that. I really don't. And so I'm not going to call a guy, because then what if someone takes that same picture and they put it next to a Black woman and they say, oh, this looks like it could be her brother. They kind of favor each other a little bit. And if you called him an ape, then she must be an ape too. I don't see, that's the part that I'm afraid of. And that's why I stay away from that particular type of phenotype. It isn't to protect Black men. It is to protect Black women. You see what I'm saying? And another reason why I don't use very harsh language is because I talk to a lot of Black male worshipers through my gym ministry and other things that I do. And also I have people on my channel who date Black men and who have not given up yet. I don't want to turn them off. I want them to continue to tune in. I want them to continue to tune in, and I don't want them to be turned off by what I'm saying. I want them to get the information. There are people who are still picking up the pieces of their life that have been destroyed by Black men. They're feeling like they're about to go, but they have not yet left yet. Well, I want to be a place that they can come and get information. And that's why I don't use super offensive language that's going to push them away, because it's really easy to write off someone as saying, oh, that person is just angry and, you know, using a bunch of racial epithets and, you know, they just hate Black men. It's easy to say that when every other word is ape this, nigga that, da, 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 da. It's easy to say that when you're not being, you can just relay the information. But fine, that's fine. Do whatever you want, however way you want to do it. But understand that people who are doing things a different way, it doesn't mean that we're not effective. It doesn't mean that we're not effective. Because I have results already, okay? A lot of my ladies are going on better dates. A lot of them feel a lot more confident. A lot of them have expanded their options for the first time, and they're starting to feel comfortable in their own skin. They're starting to rebuild their lives. You know, I have single mothers on my channel with one child. They're not trying to have 2 and 3. You know what I'm saying? By different guys. They basically are having a hard reset on their life. So I'm getting results. The ladies over here are getting results. So you have to just respect. There's going to be different methodologies to reach Black women, and your way isn't the only way. And another thing, let's talk about the talking points. This is a very thing that this comes up a lot. Like, oh, these are my talking points. This is divestment talking points. Girl, bye. Like, I don't need your talking points. Like, I have a Black psychopathic father. I get my talking points from my own family. Like, what are you talking about? I don't need, you know what I'm saying? Like, because we have a collective experience, we're going to have collective critique. Because we have a collective experience, we are going to have a collective critique. They are not exclusive to one particular group. Oh, the divestors created all of this. And just because, no, when you get fed the fuck up, you get fed up. It doesn't matter who said it first. I didn't know shit about divestment when I started my channel over a year ago. I did not know anything about divesting. I divested, or I decided that I wasn't going to fuck with broke ass dusties because of the life that I live, because of my experiences, because of the value that I see in myself. It's not because I listened in and your channel and, you know, you enlightened me on that. No, that's not why. I even have to stop myself from thinking that people are, oh, that girl is, you know, she got that from me. Yeah, sometimes maybe she got it from me. Maybe she didn't get it from me. Do we have mods in the room today? Okay, Mocha Mommy's here. Let me see. I'm about to mod you up, Cozy. Because I don't know who this is, and I don't know if they come with any bullshit. Block their ass. Because I'm not here for it today. I'm never here for it any day, really. So the talking points, you just have to understand that with the collective experience that Black women have, we are going to arrive to the same conclusions. We live in an information age. Everything is out in the open. This is not, you know, Keisha over here in the Bronx dealing with her issue, and Sheila over in Brooklyn dealing with her issues, and Tina over in Long Island dealing with her issues, and they don't really know what's going on. We're not there. No, we all see what's going on now. We have the internet. So we know what's going on in the households now. So we're coming to the same conclusions. These conclusions are not unique to divestment platforms or anywhere else. They're just not. They're not unique. There's certain content creators who probably like, I mean, I've been compared to certain content creators. This is the thing. Me and her were of similar age. Me and her have a similar background. You understand? Me and her studied similar fields. So we're going to sound a little bit alike. You know what I mean? And it's not like she took mine or I took hers all the time. No, sometimes it's just we are similar. What is wrong with that? We're just similar. We have a similar upbringing. And so, yes, we have similar sensibilities and we're coming to similar conclusions. It's not always that, oh, this person's taking that person's talking point. No, not always. Not always. I think some people are becoming less harsh about certain things, especially single moms, thanks to me and thanks to a few other single moms that have taken ladies to task on their rhetoric. Yes, I have noticed a softening on that. And I will continue to be vocal about my critiques of single mother bashing. So yeah, maybe with my little channel, yes, I am having an impact. I do believe that. Small but important. Okay. Small but important impact. Colorism. Colorism content is not specifically just to entice Black men or convince Black men to like Black women. Black women are colorist against Black women. I can tell you that because I am the mother of a dark-skinned Black daughter, and I can tell you that Black women have treated my child a certain type of way. Okay? So it's not just about Black men. Colorism, dark-skinned Black women experience colorism from a variety of factors, including from other Black women. So yes, we are going to like that. That point is not unique to Black men. And if you keep not hearing us, it's because you don't want to. If you're not hearing what we're saying about colorism, it's because you don't want to. It's because you don't want to. I've never advocated for Black men to like dark-skinned Black women. In fact, I would say I have had light-skinned Black women in my DMs, as well as brown-skinned Black women contacting me saying, hey, I want to expand my options, but I'm afraid that because I'm too light-skinned that other men are not going to like me. They only like dark-skinned women. So I have had to encourage Black women of all colors. No, don't worry about that. That's just a myth, or, that's just, it has its background. There's going to be a lot of dark-skinned Black women with men of other races, but that doesn't mean that all Black women of any shade or hue or phenotype can date whoever she wants. So yes, I do provide that encouragement for the ladies connected to my community, because it's not just about dark-skinned Black women expanding their options. It's about all Black women expanding their options. But I can say that Black women have discriminated against dark-skinned Black women. I can say that because I see that with my own child. And that has been the experience of other dark-skinned Black women as well. And also, with the promotion of dark-skinned Black women with African phenotype, it helps all Black women. It helps all of us. It's good for us to see dark-skinned Black women. It's good for us to see dark-skinned Black women getting proper promotion. It helps all of us. It helps all of us because we can all see ourselves in a dark-skinned woman with African features, especially when she has natural hair. Like, that's what we need to get. Like, that's the type of promotion that we're trying to get out there, because it helps all Black women, including light-skinned Black women with African features and kinky hair textures, including brown-skinned Black women. It helps us all. to get the to set the beauty standard as African features. It helps us all, and that's why we do it. And I don't know how many times we can explain it and how many different ways we can explain how corrective promotion and how combating colorism helps all Black women. And it's not about attracting a Black man. If you don't get it, you don't want to. And even if you don't get it, you're still going to benefit from the work that we're doing. You're still going to benefit. Even if you are adversarial and in the way, even if you're complaining, you're still going to benefit from the work. All Black women will benefit from the work because our desire is to elevate Black women as they are. Black women, dark skin especially, with kinky features, with full African features and kinky hair, to elevate them as a beauty standard. That's what we're trying to do. Nowhere does it say that we are trying to use colorism solely as a way to attract Black men. No, that's not a part of the mission. That's not a part of the mission. So I just want to be clear about that. Now, I did a video yesterday where I was telling you that reasoning with people, Black men, trying to reason with Black men and trying to shame them, it doesn't work. It doesn't work with this group either. It doesn't work with this group either. Like, I don't think that they think that what they're doing is fine. Many of them think that what they're doing is fine, and they feel justified in their vitriol towards other Black women. They feel justified in what they're doing. They feel perfectly fine calling a Black woman a B and a H and a B and a H and a B and a H every other word, and they don't feel bad about it. So I'm not even going to waste my breath trying to convince them to have any type of decorum. I'm just going to leave it be. But I think that for us over here, we don't have to become confused about what it is that we're doing with promoting the beauty standard of a Black women. And we can talk candidly and honestly about what's going on in our reality without using racial epithets every other word, because we're more intellectually advanced than that. We don't have to resort to, playground name calling. We don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. Okay, y'all, I got all my products bagged up. I'm going to create some shipping labels in just a little bit. Let me see if I jotted a few things down. Let me chat with you ladies a little bit longer before I sign off and get these products shipped out. Let me get this stuff out of the way. All right, let me tell you why I quickly got out of the divestment spaces. I did not feel welcome. I was called a mammy within like 2.3 seconds. Which, okay, whatever. But there's an issue where I've noticed a lot of divested pick-me's. And I guess divestors have changed the word pick-me. They have changed what it means. It means something different to them. The word mammy means something different to them over there. Where me, I have a traditional understanding of a pick-me and a traditional understanding of a mammy. Okay. I feel like they create divested pick-me's because they have a talking point that any Brad, a bottom shelf Brad, is better than a top shelf Tyrone. And so it creates this fury. It creates this urgency for Black women to fish from the bottom of the barrel to get any type of trailer park trash to call a mate. And another thing is they disqualify women from speaking if they don't have a Brad or haven't been with a Brad. So they're like, oh, well, you can't speak because you don't have one, or you've never been with one, so you don't know. And I think that creates an urgency for Black women to run out and choose any white man they can to gain the approval and to gain sort of like some cachet over there in that group. And that creates pick-meism. I have seen so many divested pick-me's. Just so pick-me-ish. They have not cleaned up their dating practices. They interface with them the same way that they would interface with Black men. You know what I mean? This is the thing about 50-50 relationships and stuff like that. I have a tolerance for 50-50 relationships, like if that's what a woman wants to do. I don't want to say that hypergamy is the only end all be all, and I don't want to say that you have to be a spoiled girlfriend, or you have to not pay bills, or you have to live lavishly, or you have to go on all these 5-star dates. You don't have to do that. You can live an okay life, I guess, going 50-50. I don't have any desire for 50-50 lifestyle. And I cater to women who don't want to live a 50-50 lifestyle. And I think that if you could respect us wanting lavish lifestyle, those of us who want to mingle up, those of us who want to date up, those of us who don't like paying bills, if you can respect us, we can respect you being 50-50, and everybody can live in peace. Because like, as long as you're not hurting anybody and you're not being hurt, if you feel good paying half the bills, you don't mind finding a regular schmegular dude, then just do it in peace. But you don't have to throw shade at women who want to live lavishly, calling us prostitutes and stuff like that, because either you can't do it, or you don't want to do it, or no one's interested in providing you that lifestyle. You see what I'm saying? It's just about mutual respect. And you become disrespectful if you call us prostitutes, or you allude to us being prostitutes because we like the finer things in life, and you don't feel like you have to do the finer things in life. We feel like we want to learn etiquette. We want to learn different things that will grant us access into different political spaces, different socioeconomic spaces that will allow us to date up. And yes, we do employ etiquette, hobbies like golf and tennis and boating and sailing and aviation and things of that nature. Yes, we do. In order to gain access, that's what we do. If you're happy sitting on the couch with your Brad watching TV, then just do it in peace. You can do that in peace. You don't have to throw shots at women who don't want to do that. You see what I'm saying? How it can just like have mutual respect. Smart women praising a ratchet. That was really like, sometimes like I had, run across women who were divested who I thought were very smart, like extremely smart, have a beautiful aesthetic, very articulate. They're good at putting their thoughts together, better than I will ever imagine to be, and like putting together ideas and things of that nature. But then they will praise a ratchet hot mess. And I just couldn't understand the link between the two. Like, how are you, this accomplished woman, praising and elevating this ratchet hot mess? I just don't get it. But it's like, as long as you call Black men apes and gorillas, and you can just say, like, I feel like you don't even have to say anything you don't have to even put together a good thought. You could just say ape, gorilla, ape, gorilla, ape, gorilla, fuck that nigga. And then be like, oh yeah, girl, yeah, girl, woo! And it's like, okay, what is the content here? Like, what is the depth? What is the breadth of the content besides that? Like, that cannot garner you praise. Like, who can't just sit up and name call for an hour? That's not difficult. And then provide a platform for other people to name call for an hour. Like, I don't know. For me, it's not enough meat. I like a little bit more substance. I'm a person who craves more substance. It's not enough for me. I don't get my rocks off by listening to name calling after name calling, even with some of the other content creators who curse every other word and provoke Dusties to call in and then cussing them out. I don't want to listen to that. I don't want to hear that. I just don't. I want more substance. And this is a great space for camaraderie and networking, and we've shared so much help, so many like helpful resources. That's why I'm here. Yes, it's going to stay saved. I'm not taking it down. I'm not taking this down. So that was something that I noticed that was a bit sort of like, I couldn't understand how someone so intelligent could be elevating someone so ratchet. And it's not just ratchet in behavior. It's just the life was just a complete mess, including issues outside of YouTube. Like, this person was not managing their life well. This person was not managing their life well at all. And not presenting a beautiful image of Black women. And maybe we should get to a point where like we can be ratchet and we can be unkempt. It, maybe one day, but at this point we have such little good promotion. I think that if you're gonna come on camera, please keep yourself up. Please keep yourself up. Please present the best image of yourself that you possibly can, because we need as many beautiful images of Black women as possible. So if you're coming online and you look, your life is a disaster, you're unkempt, and you're shouting into the computer about Black men being apes and gorillas and how you're going to jump on a white D, it just looks trashy. It looks very trashy. And it baffled me that intelligent Black women could co-sign this behavior simply based off the fact that this woman uses racial epithets towards Black men. You need a higher standard. You need a higher standard of affiliating yourself with someone. These people need to act with decorum. And if you're going to come on camera, do your makeup properly, or at least wash your face, comb your hair, and think about your lighting and angles. How do you have extremely full features, very full features? But I will, as a Black woman, stand in solidarity with you about your phenotype, because I am about that life. I will cape for your full features and call them beautiful because they're beautiful. But can you kind of like learn your lighting, babe? Can you learn your angles, sweetie? Can you know what I'm saying? Learn your angles, learn what colors look good on you. Go down to the Sephora and get a consultation and learn what colors look good on your skin. And you know what I'm saying? Make it work. And don't just put your face in the camera and scream these epithets, because I know somebody somewhere is thinking, oh, but you look like, and we don't want that. We don't want that. Oh, the critique about why we don't attack the manosphere. This is the thing about divested pick-me's. Divested pick-me's go after the manosphere because divested pick-me's want a reaction from the manosphere. We over here, we leave them alone usually because we want to be left the F alone. We don't want them calling into our show. We don't want them in our chat box. We don't want them adding us. We don't want them in our DMs. Do you know how many of them I have ignored in my DMs, or blocked and reported? Okay. I don't want to have a conversation with them. My divestment looks very different from your divestment because I don't have to shout, I'm divested. I'm divested. I don't deal with them because I don't want to. And women over here, most of us, we just don't want to deal with them. We just don't want to. So the reason why we don't have a reaction to every single thing that they do is because we don't care enough to do it, and we don't want to. Also, there are people who do it well. I don't have to do it because Sinji already did it. Why do I don't need the clicks and views like that. Now, if I covered every single thing that happens, could I get more view? Probably. But if I feel like if Paris Milan says it, or if Sinji says it, or Lexus Exodus says it, and they do a good job, I don't need to do a video about that. And there's all these other content creators that do other things, that talk about books, that talk about sports, that talk about home decor, that talk about hair, they're not going to cover every single meltdown that happens in the manosphere. And we already have people that already do that. We already have people that cover crime stories. We already have people that cover the different shenanigans that they do over there. So we don't have to do that all the time. There's already women that do it. We share subscribers. The subscribers are, if they want to say, oh, what happened on the podcast, on such and such podcast last week, there was a big kerfuffle, they can go over to the people who covered it, and they can get that video over there. And then they can come back over here when they're like, all right, well, I have a date coming up and I want to brush up on my finesse skills. I want to brush up on my mouthpiece. I'm going to come over to Afrocentric Woman and listen to some videos. You see what I'm saying? Like, everybody can't be good at everything. If you want to cover crime, then just cover it. Just cover it. You don't have to shame people who don't cover it. Oh, you should make a channel. Why not? That'd be great. So that's why we don't attack them. And also, we don't provoke them. I've seen a lot of divested pygmies provoking the manosphere because they want, like, for example, they'll make a video or a short and they will call them out by name. Oh, hey, so-and-so, you think so-and-so, but I don't think so. You better, da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, sis, why? Why is he even coming up in your, why did you dedicate a video to this trash bag? And why are you provoking them? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a difference between just being critiqued. I have some videos about trash bags on my channel. And some of the trash bags, at least one of them has a bunch of like fake accounts. He has like a bunch of fake accounts. At one time in my live, he was advocating for himself under a fake name. So it isn't to say that like I don't talk about trash bag bandits, but I talk about trash bag bandits in a way to educate Black women, not in a way to engage the bandit. Because I already know, because if you refer to my video from yesterday, I don't believe that they're going to change. So I don't have any desire to engage with them because I believe it is what it is. But I do have a desire to help Black women see what's going on. That's the difference. And that's why we don't. And if you have the ability to code switch at work and you give people at work the best of you, you give them the best of you. Why can't you give the best of you to other Black women? Why do you save all your vitriol and ratchetness to spew onto Black women, but then you give other people in other spaces the best of you? I don't know. If that's all it is, then I guess that's just all it is. If you're pretending to be a good person, or you're pretending to be respectful, and you're holding it together for 8 hours, and then at the end of the day, you just unleash and you unwind, and now you're ratchet. I guess if you're ratchet, you're just ratchet. It is what it is. I guess I would just have to accept that for what it is. But if you can hold it together for 8 or 10 hours a day and give your best to other people, surely you can give your best to other Black women. Surely. Surely you can. Mental stability. There's some unstable people who call themselves divestors, and I noticed that those are the ones who end up going on some of these other channels, like the mammy channels. And these unstable women are the ones who are representing divestment. And that's really unfortunate for all of us. Because the mammies put anybody who don't F with Black men, they just call us divestors. But the divestors have criteria for being a divestor, which I don't meet. So, but for the mammies and the bandits, they call anybody who doesn't want to deal with them divestors. And so there's like a handful of really mentally unstable women that are representing divestors on these panels. And it's sad because I mean, it's a free country. You can do whatever you want, but it's really gross that those are the women who, but they're the only ones crazy enough to do it. Like most of us don't want to participate with those trash bag panels. I don't know. It's like you want to do all this for the mammies. It's like you want to do all this stuff for your kings and show them how loyal you are. Why can't you just do it? Like, why do you have to invite, oh, divestors, call in, let me know why this or why that? Like, why? You don't even have to, you don't need any divestors on your panel. Just do whatever you want to do. If you want to express your love and devotion to your kings, then just do it. But they have to have, oh, we want somebody to call in. And so it's like this one resident mentally unstable lady that's always constantly calling in or constantly participating. And it's just like, girl, please just represent yourself, ma'am. Please just represent yourself. Don't represent divestment. Don't represent divestors. Just represent yourself. Because you're making us all look crazy. Now, this is the thing about etiquette. I just feel like with age, you're either going to be the mean old lady that sits on her porch and screams at people and who's always disgruntled, or you're going to be a wise sage that people go to for advice. And it's like you get to decide what you want to do. Now, as I get closer to 40, I do find myself caring a lot less. Like you do feel more comfortable in your skin. And I think that's a gift of aging. So I'm grateful for that. I don't desire to be the crazy lady on the porch screaming at everybody and who's just B, H, and B. And I don't want to do that. I see myself, moving into the like wise. I want to be like the wise sage that's still, sensual, still, doing my thing, still investing into myself. That's what I want to do with feminine allure. I don't think it has to go the mean old lady route where you just don't like people. And another thing I really don't like about toxic, some of the toxic stuff that I've seen in other realms too, not even just within this space, but like non-divestment space. I don't like when people attack people's businesses. Because I think that Black women, they need to have a livelihood, and you can dislike the person, but you don't have to disparage their business by calling their products raggedy or anything like that. I think that's just really, it's in very poor taste. Because if you don't like their products and you ordered them, just leave a review. You can leave an honest review, but you shouldn't see a Black woman online and you don't like her and you disparage her business. That's gross. That's really bad etiquette. I don't know. These people seem very comfortable with this behavior. So this may just been a complete like waste of a life. But if it can be encouraging to us to to feel to maybe just raise our own standards in our own behaviors and how we move and things like that, maybe it can help. I don't know. Because I really do think that just, it just is what it is. I mean, I've seen that kind of behavior, not even from divestment. I've seen it from other spaces on YouTube. I've seen it from another space and have been subject to a little bit behind the scenes. But the thing about those is it takes two to tango, and I won't respond. So I might get a few messages and then it kind of dies out because I typically don't respond. Because I'm not here for that. And I think the women over here, we're here for more. I think that so much can be resolved with just allowing people to be and not trying to get them to be more divested than they already are. I think that that would solve a lot of problems. Your brand of divestment, everybody's not going to do that. And people have a free will to live however way they want to, and they're going to come to their conclusions the way they want to, and whenever they do, whenever they want to. That's when they're going to come to their conclusions and not a minute sooner. So I think respecting that will save a lot of drama. It will save a lot of drama. Like, if divestors want to use, okay, so I'll say this about the target on the back situation. I don't think divestors put any more of a target on Black women's back than they already have. So with that, I do agree with them on that. I do agree with them on that, and I don't think that that should have been said. I think I understand what she was trying to say, but I don't think she articulated it the best. I think that Black women's existence is a target on our back. We have a collective, I think that we have a collective goals. Like, we all don't like the Tina Knowles docuseries that's coming out. We didn't like the cover of Colin Kirkpatrick, whatever his name is. We didn't like that cover. The divestors didn't like it. The Black women empowerment women didn't like it. We all don't like it. We don't like, that's a target being put on our back. Colin Kirkpatrick. What is his name? What is that guy's name? Kirkpatrick, whatever his name is. We all collectively don't like that book, but we need to put aside our differences to reject that book. We need to put aside our differences to push back on Tina Knowles' victim, elevating, shameful. Like, we need to put aside our differences to come together against this docuseries. Because those are the kinds of things that put a target on women's back. I've listened to so many Black women, and I've even talked to Black women who have told me that they have been in dire danger and they have thought about not calling the police. Kaepernick, thank you, my world. Kaepernick. I forgot his name, y'all. It saddens me that Black women hesitate to call the police because they're afraid of what will happen to the Black man. Because the Black man, oh, the police. I don't like that, because if she's hesitating for 30 seconds, if she's deliberating, if she's going to call the police or not, that 30 seconds can save her life. I want Black women to be so self-preserving that they would be willing to do anything to protect themselves and their children, anything. Rather it be to put someone down, to disable someone, to eliminate a threat, or to call the police. I want Black women to be so self-preserving that they're willing to do anything and everything to preserve themselves and their children. And if they have to preserve themselves from their children, then choose yourself. If your child is attacking you, choose yourself. Don't be a victim to your own child. I think that we can agree on that. Like, surely we have a few things that we can agree on. We do have things that we can agree on. And I do believe like that was not articulated as it should have been, that divestors are putting a target on Black women's back. No, there are other things putting a target on Black women's back. There are Black men put the biggest target on Black women's back. I think that what she was trying to say was that we don't want to go above and beyond to provoke them. It's like think about a rabid animal. Okay, there's a rabid animal over in the corner and it's foaming at the mouth and it's just looking around for someone to attack. And it's vicious. it would be better to try to fade into the background and like try to get away. Like it would be better to critique the animal from a safe distance, but don't be like, hey animal, I'm right here, I'm right here, look at me, you have rabies. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. It's just, don't provoke it. Think about smart and savvy ways to neutralize the threat. And another thing about that beast is when you starve it of attention, it becomes less powerful. We are the ones who make them relevant. Even when you are going toe to toe, when you're trying to shame them, when you're doing that, you look like you care, even though I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. It looks like you care though. And when it looks like Black women care, then people think that they're like, oh, there must be relevant. Like we can listen to them. Like, no, it's not worth listening to. And you would be even more effective by starving them of your attention. Sure, critique them, but critique them from a safe distance. You know what I'm saying? And the whole racial epithet thing, I discourage utilizing that just for the preservation of Black women's beauty standards. That's it. That's all. Really, really no rocket science to that. Femicide and crime coverage. I don't know. There's people who cover femicide and crime, and they do a good job at it for the most part. Everybody's not good at that. Police, like, oh, and so also I wanted to say some of the things that I like in addition to what I just said about, I don't think that divestors put a target on Black women's back. I don't think so. Um, I've talked about this in other videos that what has helped me the most from being over there for a brief period of time is interaction, like the information about interacting with the police and legal advocacy. And I think that that's where a lot of the overlap comes. That's where we can try to find some common ground. I don't know. I think that maybe the divestors need to tear out a little bit and be like, okay, I feel safe going over here and over there. And I'm a divestor. Because for the ones who are like, there are some who don't tolerate other types of Black women. I don't, I interface with so many different kind of Black women in real life that are still caught up in Black male worship or have a good, like a halfway decent spouse or whatever. And I like to be able to have an open line of communication with those women. I value having an open line of communication with those women. So a lot of the rhetoric, it wouldn't work if you're going to serve a large group of Black women. Having that kind of rhetoric would be very alienating to a large group of women. Let me scroll to the comments because I haven't been looking to see what y'all been talking about. Today I got time because let's see. I might as well. I would like to hear y'all's perspective. If anybody has a perspective on what's going on. Oh, let me pin that. Let me know if you want to call in. We need a resolution. I want to pin this comment. What's going on? Okay. There we go. So it's pinned to the top. So if you have thoughts, please feel free to call in. In the meantime, I'm going to look and see what y'all been talking about. Okay, I read that one. I think they're still in a phase where they're trying to process traumatic events they've experienced in the Black community that they thought was normal. At some point, you got to move on. Yeah. Um, the one and only time I ever called in a popular divest channel I said, I think it's important that Black women move on eventually. And I was told I was being insensitive. So, whatever. Yeah, I called in maybe like once or twice. And I was talking about, I don't think that boys are being raised properly. And I talked about that yesterday on my channel. I've talked about that. They're like, oh, you're making it all about boys. What about the girls? What about the girls? And I was just like, okay. But the men are a problem. They're a major problem. So their boys already here. There's even like women who are divested who have sons. So what about them getting some type of help with raising their sons? Because I've heard women say, oh, I'm afraid that my son is going to be a trash bag or my son is going to be a naker, but it doesn't seem like they have any real plan as to prevent their son from becoming a naker. I don't know. So I thought it was valid, but anyway, I learned very quickly, stay from over there, just out of respect also, because I don't feel like you should go to someone else's house and tell them how to live their life. If you don't like the way they do things in their house, then stay from around there. That's how I was raised. That's literally how I was raised. So that's why I stayed from around there. Okay. Hi, fine womanhood.
Hi, I'm just joining into your live. So I missed a lot. But I guess you're talking about the latest, like the things that have been happening in the BWE space.
Yes, and I had been wanting to do a video, clarifying like my experience, like getting in, and I'm realizing that I was not divested. I don't feel that I would ever have the criteria to reach the divestment threshold. And also, there's lots of things that I'm not willing to say. And I feel like that and also I've had feelings about a lack of mutual respect for a long while. And so that's why I was like, let me just go live today as I was preparing my product. So, please share your thoughts on anything.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like on my channel, like a few months ago, before the divestment movement came to be what it is today, I was actually making divestment content, but I kind of had to step away from it because like everyone else, kind of seen the direction it was going, and it's just not in me to align with that type of message compared to the original message divestment was, portraying. And, I'm definitely on the side of this space where it's getting a little bit too much. And, I've had women on my channel that are divested and are in alignment with the new divestment saying, I shouldn't be doing this. If I'm divested, I shouldn't be doing that. And it's just like, it's just a little much. Like, I'm just ready for more BWE content creators to focus strictly on womanhood and expanding and growing Black women as a whole. And I think talking about the same things over and over is exhausting. And especially if you're a Black woman who is literally trying to divest in the healthy way or just simply swirl or date interracially, those types of men are attracted to women with those kinds of attitudes, with that type of bitterness and just, all about the drama and the chaos. Healthy men want healthy women. They want women who are healed. They want women who are together. And just in general, like if you're trying to just navigate through life, like no one wants to even be friends with a woman that has, anger issues and just always willing to pop off and no real emotional control. Those things aren't
Yes.
attractive and they're not going to get you far. And other content creators said it is a bad look for Black women, and a target will be placed on our back even more if we continue, and allyship is going to be out of the question if this type of stuff gains more popularity than the stuff that is actually positive and inspirational and relatable. So
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I really appreciate you sharing your thoughts. Helps me not feel so alone because
yeah.
sometimes I feel like I'm just out here, you know.
Right. No, you're
You
definitely
know,
not alone. I mean, I think a lot of the women that consume that type of content, I think they're a little bit more younger, or just, they've, their mindset is just different. I think there's a maturity factor piece to it. Like, I think what we're seeing is in this space right now is a divide of mentalities for Black women. Like, you have Black women with that type of mentality that's a little bit more out there, bold, and unapologetic, and then you have other Black women who are a little more reserved, more conservative in their thinking, a little bit more with some I don't want to say it this way, but a little bit more with some class, to the point where they don't feel the need to bash and be so openly like hateful and spiteful for no real reason. I mean, for no real reason. And then you
I
have
would
Black women.
imagine that they're getting something out of it internally, and
Right.
I don't get anything out of it. I just don't get anything
Exactly.
out of bashing Black women for no good reason. And
Exactly.
I'm respectfully disagreeing with many points that have been, held, but I can also acknowledge what I've gained, and I can also acknowledge the positive, and I can also see you as a Black woman. I don't
Yeah.
need to call you a B or an H. I
Yeah.
just like, what is the
Right.
point of that?
There it's really crazy because you have these women paying like monthly memberships to channels that are calling them out of their name. At the same time, they're just having these content creators are having smoke for everybody, and women are paying their money into these women's channels and being okay with being called bees, whores, hoes, stupid. I mean, all because these women made mistakes in their past, or whatever. Like, there's no such thing as being a perfect Black woman. Like,
Right.
all of us have like welcomed an unworthy person into our life because we just didn't know any better, or we thought things were one way when they were really the other. I mean, it is what it is. Like, this isn't something that's even exclusive for Black women. Like, all women have those types of experiences. So for other Black women to shame each other so much more than even other women do to each other, like, that really says a lot. And I do not I'm just glad that there are healthy minded Black women speaking up about this and making it clear, like, there is a distinction between between the two types of content. And there is a reckoning coming, and we need more channels of Black women talking about being healthy, healed, and just the right type of content we should be consuming for our overall mental health. Because I think content being consumed where you're getting called out of your name all the time, it will affect you at some point in real
It would
life.
have to. And especially if you're calling single mothers' children's bastards when half of your audience are products of
Yeah,
single parent families. So what are the women bastards? I'm just like, I'm not getting it. And if,
crazy.
if my mission on here is to help Black women feel worthy and lovable and unique and valuable.
Hmm.
And I want Black women to have a healthy sense of self. And I don't want Black women to see themselves as bastards or unwanted or castaways or accidents. I want Black women to have a sense of purpose on this earth, that you are here for a reason, and I'm glad that you are here. And so long as you have breath in your body, you have an opportunity to create an amazing life for yourself. So I'm not going to call your child a bastard. I'm not going to call them a dusty baby,
Hmm.
um, because I don't want you to see yourself as a bastard or a dusty baby.
Right.
I
And
don't think that the content creators are putting the two and two together. And some of it is youth, they're young,
yeah.
but we're here, at least the like anything you want to know, drop in my DM where I'm happy to clarify. Like, you don't have to be ignorant when you can ask.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with recognizing like patterns, trends, even data and research. dealing with Black women and trying to find solutions for that. But there's a difference between doing that and being flat out, like you said, ignorant and disrespectful, and just all these other things that don't really solve any issues. And we need more Black women to just be interested and choose to actually want to consume content that will solve problems instead of wanting to consume content that is chaotic, because it's not even about what men in our community think or other non-Black men think. Like, allyship is important, and you're turning away allyship from people that think you are chaotic because you want to participate in in chaotic type of talking points and regurgitate them over and over. I mean, it's not a good look, and it's horrible for the everyday Black woman psyche.
Do you think that it's for entertainment value? I mean, what are they trying to contribute to these women's lives? I can say that women have come over to my channel because they were they knew they wanted to date out, but they didn't really have like dating skills.
Hmm.
My audience is trending much younger than when I started. When I started, I was 35 to 44
Hmm.
majority, but now the majority of my listeners are 25 to 34.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's definitely for entertainment. That's why I think that like the women that watch that are probably, I guess, regardless of age, but just still immature minded. Or they've probably been through some of their own traumas that they haven't unpacked, and so they're dealing with it through being entertained and seeing that trauma reacted online. And when I started too, my viewers have always been, yeah, pretty young. um but the young girls that watch, they're starting to see, they're starting to recognize, okay, like this, when they first came out, they're starting to recognize, okay, like these chaotic talking points are getting annoying. So now they're coming to channels like yours and channels that talk about healing and expanding and what to do next and how to grow, and how to get the results you want. And after a while, the entertainment hour ends. Like, entertainment ends at some point, and then you start to figure out, okay, how can I start getting to work? Like, how can I start getting the results that I want? I mean, if you're serious about what you want, you're going to no longer want to play around anymore. And so I think these chaotic channels will no longer gain their popularity, especially if they keep getting exposed, especially if healthy minded Black women keep coming in and pointing out the flaws and making it make sense, like making the craziness, um, pointing out how the craziness doesn't make sense. I mean, and it's gonna just turn a lot of people off that are actually serious about leveling up, and it's not going to be entertaining to them anymore because it's not going to be fresh. It's not going to be new. It's going to be the same old. And people still want answers at the end of the day.
I think they want answers and they want like tangibles. They want like, well, what can I act on?
Right.
What can I do? And I don't know that it's the most responsible to tell women that any Brad is better than a Tyrone.
Yep.
I think that there's a lot of dangers in that because um, I've seen women in economically exploitative situations with the various men of different colors, and
Mhm.
I don't think that's the most responsible message for Black women at all.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like dustiness and toxicity, it comes in every color. And so when you have these chaotic channels just pointing to the issues with Black men or with other Black women, it's not exclusive to us. Like, there's other communities that go through things as well. The difference is they are not fixated on the dysfunction and chaos. They are fixated on the solutions, moving forward and making progress. And some communities even cover it up to the point where they don't even put their dysfunction on display. They don't even care to. So I think it's just a mind shift and a mentality shift that Black women have to choose to want to adapt to so that they can seek those better results. But in the end of all of this, what I see happening is that the healthy minded Black women are going to be where they're where they're supposed to be, and the chaotic Black women are going to realize that they wasted too much time And unfortunately, they are going to get left behind, but it's going to be due to their own doings.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah. But those are my thoughts on this. I mean, yeah,
What are
it's
your thoughts? What are your thoughts on equating decorum with being a Karen and being ratchet with being black? I found that to be quite troublesome. I mean, I don't know if you've heard that particular talking point, but
I haven't
I
heard
just
that
feel like I'm
actually.
being myself. I don't think I'm emulating anyone. I just want to treat black women with respect.
Oh, yeah. So I know what you mean now. Like, not wanting to participate in the drama equates to you wanting to be white or something.
Yes, I've heard that. I've heard that accusation of
Yeah, you
just even saying that, okay, be strategic, handle things a certain way. Watch your social media, like the image that you put out, if you're going to have a controversial channel, think about being anonymous and things like that. And they're saying, oh, well, if so and so wanted a Karen, they would get one. You get to do whatever you want because you're spicy. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, I think that's just another doctrination to keep black women low vibrational, to make it seem like we have to be chaotic every time there is an issue. I've been watching a lot. I don't know if you or any of you other ladies in the chat, but if you guys have ever watched The Bachelor or like The Bachelorette, and I've particularly watched the black female bachelorettes that have come on, and just, there's other black women that enter into The Bachelor as contestants. And there's always like some drama, right? Of course, it's like reality TV, but especially when it's like black women as contestants, and majority of the bachelors have been non-black men. Like the current season right now, it has some black women in there, and they are not the ones in the drama, and they're not the ones being chaotic or any of that, and they have the decorum that is universally attractive to all men, even in the midst of conflict. And I think when black women who are not very well cultured, they clearly don't be outside. They be in Blackistan all the time, or they've been in Blackistan so much and frequently visit there. They just don't think that that type of decorum and holding yourself to a higher standard as a black woman is normal. They think it's abnormal, when actually, if you truly divest and you've been truly divested, that is a universal way of holding yourself as a young woman, as a woman, period, um, to not be chaotic. And it's attractive to everybody else. Men, romantically, people that want to just hold space with you, it's attractive. Nobody wants a chaotic woman of any color, of any color. Um, and that includes black women. So when black women want to keep other women as low vibrational, I just think it goes back to misery loves company. Miserable women
Mm.
especially do not want you to look better. They don't want you to elevate. They don't want you to move the goalposts. They want you to stay down because they're down. And whatever happened in their life, whatever traumas they went through, they can't get out of it. And when they see you finding the solutions to get out, they want to bring you down. They want to come for you. They want to tell people not to support you. That's why channels like yours and channels like mine that talks more about womanhood and healing and dating and things like that, the numbers for channels like this are low, but
They're
the
low.
numbers for
They're
channels that are
low.
chaotic are very high.
They're high.
And
I
it
think because we're putting the women to task to get up and move. Get
right,
up and move.
right,
Try it. Okay, if you think you don't like the wig, you don't like, okay, well then cut your hair and see how that goes. Go out and do it. You don't want to wear a dress, well, wear a cute pantsuit. Try it and come back and let me know. Get up, move, try some
right.
different things, get the results. Ultimately, we're trying to get you to a place where you're living a great life. There isn't one way to do it. Find the way that works. I'm not going to sit here and roast people for your entertainment because I will have felt like I didn't give you anything of value.
Hmm.
Also, I'm not good at roasting, by the
Me
way.
either.
I'm really not good at it. Um,
Yeah.
it's just like if anybody has smoke for me, they're probably just going to obliterate me and I won't respond because I'll just
Hmm.
write my journal or something. But I just don't, I'm not a good roaster, and I'm not here. Like I notice a lot of the channels that it's like, oh, let's talk about, healing your inside, and people like,
Mhm.
but the great thing about our subscribers is they are so amazing. Like they're
Yeah.
small, but they're so engaged, and
Mhm.
everyone's getting results, and people are moving forward, and
Yeah.
women are like have such respect for one another, and it's like
Mhm.
it's wonderful over here.
It's
But
wonderful. Yeah, and
the
it's
traction is slow.
peaceful.
Yes.
Right. And it's peaceful. And one thing about being a woman, if you're really in touch with your womanhood, a peacefulness is a very admirable trait of a woman to everybody. So if you are more attracted to peace, you will attract a lot of people in general, because the world is already just chaotic no matter where you go. And peaceful women are very much so the real, like, high value woman. They are the ones that are men are competing for the most. The women who are peaceful, who are genuinely full of joy, and who are also recognize that they're not perfect, but are actively trying to find solutions and to be better and trying to inspire. Women like that are who's really the most admirable and the most popular. Like, the women who are chaotic, they come and go. Like, we see these chaotic faces come on TV and on YouTube, and then before you know it, they're over with. People are ready for the next thing. It's not something that lasts. Like, women who are full of peace can hold on to things and can create relationships and allyship that is long lasting and actually valuable. And the women that watch these types of channels get that. They have that mentality, and they are going to be the ones to win in the end, despite like how small these channels are, despite how small these communities are. They're the ones who are standing out. And these are the types of Black women that actually are desirable, not only from looks but from character, because what you're attracted to consuming a lot of is, a reflection of who you are and how you're trying to carry yourself, and it is attractive to other people, and people do notice it.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, this has been
So
such a breath of fresh air. Is there anything else you want to share with the ladies?
no, I just wanted to come on because I haven't made anything on my channel about it, but I saw you went live, and so I wanted to speak about it and talk to you because I absolutely love your content. And just keep going. Like, I love listening to Black women just being better and giving good advice and solutions, and attaching it to data and trends, and just solution based content for Black women. I love it. So thank you for having me up.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. Anytime. You just hit my DM if you ever have anything you want to share.
Yes, I definitely will. I'm gonna keep listening.
All right. Peace.
Okay, bye.
My sister from another mister, Miss Mokamami.
Hi. Thank you so much for having this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you for modding and for just being you, because you're amazing. But please share.
Oh, thank you. But well, I feel as if the rant channels, they have like their place, and I would never try to police any other woman's speech or invalidate her experience if she feels that she needs to do that at this point. And there's been a point in time when I've participated and supported those channels for that reason. There's no way I could ever do like a 3-hour live letting people, all these random people call in. There's no way I could ever do that. So I'm grateful for those spaces, but at the same time, I know that I have to have a personal boundary just for my own spiritual well-being.
Yeah.
So yeah, and also too, there was a time I participated a lot more in some of those spaces that had like debates, because I thought that there was misinformation. But I started to realize that people were being deliberately dishonest. Like the
Mm.
men on the other side were being
Yes.
deliberately dishonest, because I thought it was like, okay, this might be a lack of understanding on how you guys, let me come and use my, clinical data management experience to kind of explain, what it is that you're actually seeing in the data. But then there was like it became clearer, like, okay, you want to be misinformed. You want to spread this misinformation.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Especially when you were asking for receipts and you were seeing they were pulling up stuff from the 70s, or when they were not properly putting it into context. And it's just like, okay, so then another thing too, I realized I had to sort of unplug from those spaces. And then also, there's opportunity out here. Like, I never liked celebrity gossip because, again, I think that's something that's bad for your spirit. But there's opportunity out here. During the season, the baseball season, I was tagging MLB networks, like highlight clips or pictures from their YouTube channel. And they contacted me to be part of one of their focus groups.
Nice.
So, I mean, was it like a ton of money? No. I mean, enough to buy like a Coach bag, like, you know, not like a ton of money, but it was interesting because they really cared about what it was I thought. And especially when they realized, like, okay, you have this really young demographic, you're a woman, you have a young demographic, we're trying to market to this demographic, you know, and they were like, oh, you know, and a couple of, I have another YouTube name, and I was sitting like on a couple of sports panels, and I would say things, and they thought like, they think our colloquialisms are kind of funny. Like as a Black woman, like we'll say things and they were like, you know, when somebody strikes out when you play baseball and you say, go back to the dugout, sit down, think about your life. They think that's funny. Like, I'm not the first Black woman to say that. I'm not the first Black woman in my family to say that, but they think stuff like that's funny.
But I just, okay, so Mocha Mommy, with that, I think that there's a beauty in Black womanhood that, because of our mannerisms, because of the way we carry ourselves, because of the cadence of our tone, the richness of our tone, like, and our sayings and our beingness makes us so unique and beautiful. I don't think that has anything to do with the ratchet part, the B, the ho, the B, the H, the this and that, and oh, you know, if you don't do these things and you're trying to be a Karen. I think that Black womanhood is just so much more expansive than that element that needs to be like minimized and minimized and minimized. I don't think it's ever going to go away, but I don't think that that needs to be the overall representation of who we are. And you are talking about you going into another space and there aren't a lot of Black women over there, and you're being yourself and expressing,
or women, period,
as you are. Your Black womanhood is shining through, and it was done without being ratchet. It's just being you.
Yeah, that's true. And
that's my critique. That's my issue. I just don't like, I don't think that we have to associate ourselves as a collective with the under elements of what's here, but it doesn't have to be the overall representation of our collective.
I agree. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with being yourself. I think there's so many misconceptions that are floating around this space about, you know, non-Black men and our relationship to them, about who has currency and who doesn't. You know, like, I mean, I know we've had this conversation before where women who are maybe overweight or they're still in therapy, how they feel they still need to sit on the sidelines and still need to feel like they need to be in this holding pattern. When I'm saying, like, you can still go out and socialize and build that skill no matter what size you are. Do you have no options? No, you might have less, but you don't have no options. But still go out there and socialize because you're still an amazing person with a lot to offer. So don't, you know, be afraid to put yourself out there. And I just think that more Black women need to have that feminine confidence to do so. Like, and we need to, that really needs to be our focus, and not really bashing a group of men who are already lost and they don't have any desire to want to be found at this point.
I agree. And I love the confidence building strategies and techniques that you share on your channel.
Yeah. And I'm trying to, you know, like, give women like good examples of what to do. And I kind of, you know, put out the Rachel Lindsay book for that reason. Like, you know, she had to straddle a very fine line in her career and being the first Black lead on The Bachelor. She had to straddle a pretty fine line, right? And maybe that there's some skill in that. And maybe that's one of the things that we might need to learn, that skill, because this is sad. Honestly, it makes me sad. And people have called me a mammy because I feel saddened by it. But the more you level up in your life, whether it be health-wise, whether it be spiritually, whether it be academically or professionally, the less our male counterparts become a factor. And that doesn't make me sad. That makes me kind of sad.
You were accused of being a mammy because why?
Because that makes me sad. Like, as opposed to like, that's what they get and blah, blah, blah. No, that's sad
too. It makes me sad too. I feel sad about all of it. I just don't feel sad enough to limit myself.
Yeah, I agree. It's sad. It's not my problem.
I feel sad from afar. Like, it is sad. It's not natural. This is very unnatural. You should be able to choose from your men group, but I know that I can't. I know that that's not a possibility for me. And I had noticed it a long time ago. I mean, I knew that once I graduated college, I was going to have a lot fewer guys with my same credentials. I knew that. And I also knew that the guys that were graduating cum laude and who were off to getting good jobs and stuff like that, they were very disinterested in Black women. They wanted to get their hands on white skin any way possible. I knew that. I mean, that was I'd seen that. Even at HBCUs, I'd seen that.
Oh, yeah.
So I wasn't like delusional about it, but it's such a tough pill to swallow. That's why being in spaces where Black women can share their collective experience and say, oh yeah, that's how I felt too when I graduated. Or yeah, the men who were on my level were very disinterested in me. Especially those of us who have like traditional Black phenotype, not the fine, could pass for something else or who look a certain way, but those of us who have full features, our counterparts were very disinterested in us because they wanted to get as far away from Blackness as they could. That's what we experienced. So spaces where we can be validated and people not gaslight us for the experience that we had, I do think is very healthy. Like, it's a part of, just getting to the next step, but, not getting stuck there. And it is saddening. And I don't feel, I mean, of course, I wouldn't ever call you a mammy. I don't think that's a mammy. I think that's just being a Black woman, especially I think if you had a Black father, like you were talking about the book that you had reviewed the other day, of The Bachelorette, and talking about what she thought what might be her life. There was points where I thought I would be with an alpha because I've always been attracted to nerds. But, going over there, I realized like, no, they really like, I'm not the right phenotype over there, for what they're looking for. So that ain't going to work. Or, just being too relaxed and too effeminate, that wasn't going to work for me either. So that's really interesting that having a full range of emotions, you would be accused of being a mammy. The first time I was called a mammy is when I said that I said 98.5% of Black men are, not good, but that wasn't good enough for them. They said that I should say 100% are not good. 98.5 made me a mammy.
Yeah, wow. Like, I had said something along the lines of like, it was when I did the video about the Olympics and Disney. Like, I was like, I can see why they're upset about this. I could see why, because everybody was asking me to make, well, not everybody. I was getting a lot of emails saying, oh, can you make a response video to this? Can you make a response video to that? And I'm like, ladies, I don't need to make a response video to every single talking point the manosphere has. This is a response to something larger. And I kind of pointed out like the Summer Olympics, how when they were going into the homes of the athletes, and a huge part of the Summer Olympics are Black athletes, how they were like no dads because you couldn't have people in the stands. So they were covering the families, no dads. And how many of these biracial athletes who were American but were raised by their moms in other countries or were raised by their non-Black moms who represented another country, no dad. Like the fastest man in the world right now is raised by a single Italian woman because the dad wasn't in the picture. Like, and then how Disney's next 3 live action releases are going to feature a Black woman, but a non-Black male lead. The next 3. So they're writing them out and then they're not even fearing any financial consequences as a result. I'm like, so I can understand why you're getting all this backlash. That's why they're acting the way they're acting. But, you know, they were like, and I was saying something like, I can see why they're acting that way. I don't condone their behavior, but that's why they're acting that way. You're a mammy and you're on their side and you shouldn't feel sorry for them. Or when DMX died and I had said like addiction affects a lot of our family and, you know, burn the cake, but you have to make sure that you're taking care of yourself because addiction affects a lot of Black families.
Yes.
So make sure you're getting the help you need. You shouldn't feel sorry for him or blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, he made his choices, but he's going to have children who are going to have to deal with that.
Poor
and
children.
There needs to be compassion for those kids.
Yeah.
Even if those children are adults, some of those children are adults. You know?
Yeah, he left a large path of destruction.
Right. And he's not the only one.
Yeah.
And that's an issue we don't talk about. And for some reason, I'm a mammy for wanting to say that, hey, you know, if you ladies are getting therapy, maybe there's an issue you should bring up. You know, if you got to make sure that you're dealing with the issues that Blackistan left you, not just the anger, but the sadness and the grief that also is going to come with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of mourning, you know, that has to happen. Even just mourning and coming to the grips with like just whatever your situation was and just grappling with it. So that way you can get a handle on it and decide what do you need to supplement in your life today to kind of like fill in all those holes, you know, fill in all those holes of that stuff that just you didn't get. So what can we do to supplement that now? What can we do to add into your life? What kind of relationships would be beneficial today to add into the mix to make you whole and feel good and, you know, feel at peace? Because we can't go back. What is done, but also you're here today and you may still have different needs. Discovering what those needs are so that they can be met, because you deserve to have your needs met. That in and of itself is pretty mind-blowing to Black women. Did you know, Black women, that you deserve to have your needs met? Did you know that? That your needs are valid and that you deserve to have your needs met, and that there's stuff you can go and do whatever you need to do to meet your needs? Wow. You don't have to go without. Oh, wow.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Tabitha.
Yeah, I'm just reading Tabitha's message here. That's, you know, yeah, that's something that I was talking about the other day with one of the women that I was talking to at the gym ministry. You know, she was just kind of like planning on being a single mother. And another woman who's actually a trainer was saying that this guy, this bandit that just broke up with her, it was really messy. He asked her if she wanted children. And I thought that was really interesting that he didn't ask her about marriage. I was like, wow, you know, that's interesting. That's very telling that he's asking you if you want a baby, but he's not asking you about committing himself to you long term. He's just like trying to drop off a sample. Like, it's just gross. There's so much work that we have to do with Black women of just the reprogramming and helping you understand, like, if you want to bring children into this world, you are deserving of a committed partner, somebody that's going to be supportive and around and stable for you and your child, and that you can get the skills to to choose the right person and the right family, because I know that's something I've learned. Not only is the guy trash in my situation, but also his family is trash.
Mm.
So I may get into that, in another day, a dedicated video just to that. But the family that the guy comes from is also, very important, in addition to him. So that's just something that we just have to continuously reaffirm in Black women, and help them boost their confidence that they know that they can get that, they can achieve that. Even if you have a child already, you can, if you want more children, you can get it the second time or third time around. Or if you're going to be starting from scratch, you can get that. Or even if you don't want children and you just want a committed partner, there are lots of men who don't want children who will commit themselves and be a good mate to you.
That's so true. And I think that I'm so grateful that she used the word fear, because I think that that's a very, very real concern. And I think that sometimes um, anger is a way to cover up fear. And I kind of noticed too, like when I was on some of the rant channels, because they can talk all day about what Black men are not. But then when you start giving them like advice and strategy, it's something else. They start backing up real quick because they really just wanted to talk about what other people are not, and not really step forward into what it is they may want. Like they know what they don't want, but they don't know what they do want. And then that becomes a source of fear. So I'm so grateful that she put that word fear in there. And I mean, I think that, you know, I think that that's really real that you said that. Like, and the whoever, she says that too, like not wanting, fearing being a single mom. And I don't know, I think being a mother is a blessing. And if it's something you want to do, you can, but there are men who want that. So let's get the strategy to learn how to find those men who want that. So even if the relationship doesn't work out, they still want to be a dad.
Yes.
They still want to be there for their dad, their children, and they still want to be a dad. And I can honestly say, like, I found a person who wants to be a dad. So he wants to be a cool dad.
Mocha Papa.
He wants to be the cool dad, and he's realizing that has consequences. But nevertheless,
the pushover dad that your daughters have wrapped around their finger.
Exactly.
I love it. I love that they're spoiled. I love it.
Yeah.
I know you don't, because you're over there in the house, but I love it from afar. I love it from afar.
Yeah, like no, they're like, oh well, dad's payday. I'm like, whoa. How you know when he get paid? Like,
dang, no, they not clocking dad's pockets like that. Dang, little princesses, y'all are extra. They sound like my kids.
Yeah, it's too much. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not for Black women living in fear. And I think that sometimes anger is a socially acceptable expressed emotion.
Yeah.
But behind it is fear, and behind that is grief, and behind that is sadness. And those other emotions are okay too.
Yeah. Yeah, sorrow. And I think I've noticed a trend in different spaces of like, be hard, be strong, don't back down, be aggressive. And, we are fighting to take a nap when we want to. Like, that is a gift a lot of Black women don't have access to. Of not having to be on the battlefield all the time, even if it's, you have these particular belief systems. And I've never been much of an evangelist, even when I was in Black power spaces. I remember people having a very evangelistic, approach to Black power and thinking about converting people over and getting, and I was just like, nah, I just want to live my life. Like, whatever, if you're interested in what I'm doing, I've never, like, when I was vegan, I didn't feel like I needed to convert meat eaters. I didn't feel like I needed to shame them about, the horrors of meat. I'm better than you because I'm vegan. It's just, I would prepare my little foods, and if you were interested, I'd share my food with you. Or if you had questions, I'd answer the questions about it. And they'd be like, have you lost weight? I'm like, yeah, I lost weight. I have more energy. I would talk about what veganism was doing for me at the time, but I just didn't feel the need to go out and evangelize about veganism. And so it's the same thing with this lifestyle, with being self-preserving. I mean, I'm just living my life, I'm doing me, and want to be a beacon of light for Black women whenever they want to come home, whenever they want to do it. We'll be here, we'll be here. But I don't feel the need to go out and convert or tell people they're not doing it the right. You're not doing it the right way because you're not as extreme as I am, and you haven't made up your mind yet, or you're straddling the fence. Like, yeah, some people are straddling the fence on certain things. They have one foot in and one foot out. And I'll say, well, listen, as far as hypergamy is concerned, that's my wheelhouse. Listen, you have one foot in, one foot out. You have a Dusty over here that you're dealing with, that you're addicted to, and you have your affluent men that you're dating over here. Understand the liability of having this Dusty in your life. Understand that these are the things that can happen because you have one foot in hypergamy and one foot out. But I leave it at that. Like, do whatever you want. Do what you will.
And I think some of them are going to be mules for this cause. Like, they're going to be starting to cut off opportunity and starting to cut off alliances because they have to be mules for these causes. Like, I know when we had that whole summer of wokeness, there was dudes out here writing checks for Black women to go to school, or Black-owned, try to support Black-owned businesses, and waiving fees, for Black women to buy houses. And if I can put you into that network, I'm going to do that. Well, you're not divested enough because you're talking to these Black men. No, like, girl, Black women still need green money. Like, if somebody's out here writing checks, then, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not that divested if somebody about to write some checks, for a cause that I care about. We shouldn't die on these hills of these ideologies, because I saw it happen on the other side. I saw when I would work in the school system, like, what the manosphere was doing to young men. They were burning a lot of bridges. And that's what I'm saying. Like, ladies, don't burn any bridges in your lives on these internet causes. Just don't do that.
Yeah, you have to find a balance. I mean, and it's like when divestors start talking about crime, I'm like, yeah, girl, yeah. I agree. Because I see the stuff happening. Like, I'm literally like, I've seen it happen and I agree with it. Like, the crime is a huge problem, and the mentality behind those enacting the crimes are a problem. So I'll be like, yeah, and then it'll take a turn, and I'm like, ooh, okay, now I'm uncomfortable. Now I'm uncomfortable. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go, because it's taken a turn where, of course, the racial epithets, and then it's just like this competition of savagery. Like, who can be the most vulgar? Who can be the most intolerant? Who can be the most, and then kind of like big upping each other on those. And I'm just like, okay, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and just, fade out, because, home training and being respectful of other people's living room. That's how I see other people's panel. It's like their living room, it's their party. And so, sometimes don't crash people's party that you weren't invited to, or if you wander into a party that it's not making sense, just, just go ahead and leave. Right. You don't need to make a grand announcement. I'm leaving, I'm unsubscribed, I'm gone. Just go ahead and go. Just, exit left and just be respectful and go on and get up out of there.
Yeah. And as far as like crime and things like that, like, I think supporting Black femicide, and I support a lot of these channels. I'll cash app them or super chat them, but who are actually out here advocating for Black women. But if you have some kind of crazy, like, maybe I just have to give you a like and then just watch from the clouds. because, there's just some things too. It's just not worth sullying your spirit or your brand or your own mental health. So, good luck to them, more power to them, but, and at the same time too, I'm in no position to police your speech. You're grown.
Mm.
So you have to make this decision. If you make that bet hard, you have to lie in it. But
Mm.
when you're ready to leave that behind, that next level will be there for you. So,
Yeah.
I can't, we can't like judge each other or call each other, okay, call me whatever you want, whatever. But once you're ready to move forward, there's a safe space for you. But
You're
I
like,
can't.
Mocha Mommy's like, while you're calling me a mammy, I'm out in my garden, picking my herbs, sipping my tea, and relaxing.
Yeah, I mean, call me a fence sitter. Hey, our fence is nice. We just got it done this weekend. The fence look good. I'll sit on it. I like the fence.
I just picture you in your garden, not giving a care with your tea, picking your vegetables, minding your business.
No, it's because it's not that deep. I mean, what, for 2,000 subscribers? Like, that, like, I don't know. Like, what you saying gonna give me a headache? Like, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, like, okay, I'm just gonna delete and just pray for you. Maybe you just need a juice cleanse and some Jesus. I don't know, but we gotta just. I can't help that. I can't help how you feel.
Yeah, I think that that's a sign of being healthy is, people are going to make assumptions and people are going to say certain things, but that doesn't, I'm like, if you don't believe it to be true, if you don't accept that as your reality and you have so many positive things going in your life with your children and your career and your marriage and your family and your community and everything else and your renovations, I mean, it's like, to what extent could you even like, okay, all right, okay, that's how you feel. And I'm back to my life. And that's the part that I started really speaking out about some of the stuff because I felt like women weren't living their life. They were either on the sidelines or so consumed with the the plight of certain, rhetoric and stuff like that. And meanwhile, they're not out living. They're like, oh, I don't want to be him. I don't want to be him. Okay, well, can you attract an affluent man of another race? Well, no. Have you been on a date in the last 2 years? No. Oh, interesting. Because you've been going hard on the internet for the last two years. When are you gonna find time to get out there and date? And that's, you know what I
Girl,
mean? Like, okay, I know you don't want the BMs. That's fine. So, what do you want? I want a so and so. Okay. You have to leave your home. You got to turn off the computer, okay, get dressed and leave your home, get in the car, drive somewhere and go and mingle. Live your life. Don't give your life to this rhetoric, you know?
I agree. That was one of the biggest things I noticed. Like, you'd go onto those spaces and then you say, well, have you tried X, Y, and Z? Oh, well, no, because I'm trying to still work on myself and da 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 da. I'm like, hold on, you've been on this platform for 2 hours,
Yep.
girl. And then you'll say something. Well, hold on, wait a minute. Well, I don't know if that would work. I mean, you don't even know. Or they'll
Try.
like dissect what it is you're saying, and and then you found out that they haven't even been out of the house.
Yep.
Like,
In years.
yeah,
Sometimes in years.
yeah. And I understand like the quarantine kept us all inside. But at the same time, now things started opening up and people were like, well, I don't know if I'm ready to hit the sports. I'm like, girl, it's a sports bar. It's not like that deep. You're going to find out more women out there. I'm serious. I told my husband, I'm like, this is an untapped gem because the women out here who's out here getting flued out, they look like Amy Schumer. Like, they're nothing special.
Seriously.
Any level of Black woman can go out there and go and get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, these chicks out here with their pajama pants on.
Seriously, and I
Like,
find it
it's
actually the
out.
exact opposite. I don't think like black. Well, I can speak from my own personal experience. I know for me, carrying myself the way I am, I'm actually way more etiquette than most Karens that some of the guys I've dated have been used to. I
Hmm.
don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's like they feel like they don't have to do things or they're just so entitled that they just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know what the issue is, but I know it's been really refreshing for them. Even if they don't do it, but I'm not doing like I don't care what you do over there, like if you don't, but I carry myself a certain way because I'm trying to attract a certain level of treatment and that's what
Right.
I'm getting. And it's working. So to critique someone about what they're doing when they're getting results and they're getting and it's benefited my life, that's why I continue to do what I'm doing because it's working. It's working.
Right. And I just feel like any level of level up, you're at an advantage. You're at an advantage out there. So just continue to put yourself out there. And as far as like our image or whatever, I think, yes, people hear this, but on the other hand, too, people know the difference. Like, people know the difference between an Afrocentric woman and somebody running a rant channel. Like,
Hmm.
people know the difference. And it's interesting because in Black America, we don't really have like a class structure much. We're all kind of like one collective. But other communities, they have a class structure and they understand a lot
Mm.
more than we think they do. So that's kind of why I suggest, show up as your best self, but still just show up.
Is there anything else you want to share with the ladies, Mocha Mommy?
No, I know you've been on for 2 hours, so I just want to say thanks a lot for having this conversation.
Oh, thank you. You and the fine woman have been really refreshing, and I love the ideas that you ladies have shared. And I just love Mocha Mommy's channel in general. If you haven't, you probably already are subscribed to Mocha Mommy, but if you haven't, definitely go and check out her content. And then I have not checked out the Fine Woman to my knowledge. I'm subscribed to some people that YouTube hides from me, but I'll be sure to go to her channel and make sure that I'm subscribed so that I can learn more about what she shares on her channel. And then I just wanted to back up before I go to the comment on there about being afraid of being um, like having children and being left alone. Um, I think that that's valid, but definitely just I think practice on um, the confidence building stuff and like being around just different social groups where like if you like I think you said in an earlier comment a lot of your friends have children before marriage, just try to link up with people who have children in marriage or like other content creators like Mocha Mommy who is married and other people that are married so that you kind of can just have some like more broader perspective because sometimes it's just like when you're in the midst of something and that's all that there is, sometimes it's hard to kind of spread your horizon that like something more is available to you. And then also you have so much time because most women are having children later, you're in your early 20s. So a lot of women are having children in their 30s, up to 30 or early 30s, and you're still fine so long as you take care of yourself. So I think I might do a show on that actually. I think I'll do a show on like preconception health because if you have good preconception health, it's going to buy you more time. So you don't have to feel rushed to have children right away. You don't have to feel that rush because I know I felt really like pressured because all of my cousins and stuff, they all had children in their late teens and 20s, and I was in college at the time that they were having kids. And so it felt like, oh my God, I'm getting so old. And I made a lot of bad decisions relationship wise because I felt like I didn't have time. So I needed to hurry up and just get with whatever was around. And so I made irrational decisions based off of that. So I think just feeling more confident in yourself and knowing that you have time, you don't have to necessarily rush. You can date and get experience and kind of like just date for the purposes of dating, date for the purposes of discovering what do you like, what don't you like, how do you want to be treated, where might you want to live, how do you want to interface with a potential partner, um learning how valuable you are, seeing how men react to you and how addicted they can get to your femininity, like, to just put it very bluntly, like, what you have is intangible. It's kind of like an essence, but it's so valuable and they absolutely need it. And so when you know that they need it, that's when you are a lot more strategic about the things that you expect in order to be comfortable, in order to exist around them and contribute to their life. You will become way more emboldened and you'll become way more comfortable having certain requirements and things that you expect in order to invest your femininity into any man, as far as real estate and resources and commitment and paperwork and life insurance and all of that. The way to get to the point of feeling confident about commanding resources is to get in touch with your essence that is very unique and valuable. Not just for me to say it to you, but for you to feel it for yourself and you to know how palpable that essence is and how valuable it is to anywhere you choose to invest it, in your job, in your business, with clients or customers that you work with family members, with other people that you're in a relationship with. It's so valuable what you bring, who you are. And especially when it comes to relationship, who you are and how you show up and how valuable it is. And the more valuable you feel, the less afraid you will be in making the wrong choice. Okay? Because you won't settle for less. When you feel valuable, you're not seeking to be picked. You're not seeking to be chosen. You're the one who's choosing from a variety of different options and from a variety of different things that you can do. And you're going to pick the best option, the most lucrative option. So when you're picking the most lucrative option, those fears are going to subside drastically. They may not completely go away, but they will subside drastically because you will have confidence in your choices. You know what I'm saying? And you will pick quality. Regardless, when there's children involved, regardless of what happens to the relationship, you will have a good resources set up for your child and someone who's going to stick by them and co-parent with you regardless of what happens. Are you talking about the married out divestors who can't stop talking to you? Selfish love. I have seen that and I find it to be really it's just interesting because I'm just like, you don't have a dog in this fight. If you're really divested, you have your partner, why you don't care, so you keep talking about it over, like, I don't know, girl. To me, it's overkill. Because I'm not going to say that I don't ever talk about them, because I do, but not to the extent that they do. They talk about them way more than me, and I'm not divested. So that was one thing that I was definitely turned off. Like, I don't think I care enough about Black men to be divested because I don't talk about them as much as they do. I'm mostly focused on Black women getting what they want in life. That's my main focus. So yeah, that's my main focus. Black women getting what they want and living a luxurious and abundant life. That is my that's my mission. That's what I'm trying to do. Most women these days have children in their 30s. Yeah, they do. You can have children healthily in your 30s. You just need to take good care of yourself. And being Black, you have time. My great grandmother, her last child, she had at 48. My great grandmother's last child was at 48. So Black women can have a longevity in reproduction if we take good care of ourselves. And so you don't have to feel rushed to pick any old guy. You can literally just continue to refine yourself, because the thing about refinement in you is that you continue to level up. So it's like sometimes it does suck when guys cycle in and cycle out, but it's always great to utilize the investment from one to level up to the next. And I can literally say I did that. Okay? I did that. The last situation, I have so many tangibles that have put me in position to level up past the last situation. Okay? So we can get into that in another video, because I know Selfish loves those kind of videos. Selfish love loves the finesse. Okay? And that is my internet homegirl. So we can get into that in another video about utilizing one to level up to the next one. Okay. Who was it? I'm trying to think. It was actually that woman who married Jeff Bezos. I think she met him through like her ex-boyfriend or something. Like she used one to level up to the next one. So there's women who are on that trip. Like you when you have strategy, you know how to level up. Like you know how to get from one to the other. There's literally this guy trying to talk to me, and he works for the Major League Baseball Association, or MLB. I'm not necessarily that interested in him, but I do want to get into MLB space. So I will be entertaining him. Okay. I will be entertaining him for the purposes of getting in the MLB space. Yes, I will. Okay. I sure will. So, they say, I love to hear that as well. The video about finding passion and hobbies outside of online divestment. Okay, that's a good one. Okay, so a video about finding a passion and hobbies outside of online divestment. I think we can talk about hobbies. There may be someone I can invite on here too, because the one woman who's married to Jeff Bezos, she met him through her hobby. So she had a hobby of flying helicopters for fun. And so she had started a company, or was working with a company flying helicopters. And like, that's how he gets around town, through helicopters. And that's how they met. So hobbies are so important for your own feminine refinement, or just like having interesting things to talk about, being interesting. When you go on adventures and you have hobbies and things that you're passionate about, it just makes you a very interesting woman. It makes you alluring to have a passion project, even if it's sewing, knitting, skiing, gardening, dancing, painting, photography, homemaking, decorating, those kinds of things, interior decoration, small DIY projects. All of that stuff makes you an interesting person. So, yeah. And Sissy Asia says, hobbies enrich your life and help you meet like-minded people. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Sewing and cooking. And I'll do another video about like when I used to be a mammy. I'll do a video about how like I thought like cooking and like being a good homemaker was going to like help me keep my Black man, but it didn't work. That's why I don't believe, like, I don't ever promote that, because I know that it doesn't work, because I already did all of that. So I don't need divestors to tell me that leveling up for a Black man will make him a good man. I don't need you to tell me that, because I've already tried it. I already did that years ago. I was the perfect homemaker. I did everything beautifully, and it wasn't enough. And I know plenty of other Black women who've done it all, and it's not enough. It's not enough. It will never be enough. You cannot convert them through homemaking and through being submissive. It's not enough. It never works. So that's not a divestment talking point. That's my life. It's literally, but we can talk about that another day. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I need to print out labels so I can get these products shipped out to my customers. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. I really do appreciate y'all. If you're tuning into the replay, please leave your comments below. Let me know your thoughts about this. Also, future video ideas that y'all would like to have. If y'all want to invite Fine Woman back to the channel to share something, like leave in the comments like what y'all want her to talk about. So hopefully she'll come back. And Mocha Mommy, of course, is always welcome. So thank y'all so much. Have a great day. Bye.